Hey guys, since we weren't able to meet again this month, I thought I would just give you guys a little bit of an update and share a testimony that happened with me kind of recently during this whole coronavirus stay-at-home order thing. So God kept giving me hints and signs about how I'm going to go into transition, or even just that the church itself is going to go through a transition. I shared a testimony before how this year was going to be a pretty foundational year for a lot of change. And I kept getting 11:11 over and over and over again last year leading up to this. And that happened to me before, where like years ago, I was getting 11:11 quite a bit for like a week. And I called Greg Dietering and I asked him about it. I was like, hey, what does 11:11 mean? Do you have any idea? And he said to me, oh, he's like, yeah. He's like, that's happened to me before. He said, it means something's imminent. And he said that before he was thrust into ministry by the Lord many years ago, he was seeing that number a lot. And so he told me, like, yeah, look out for something that's imminent, some kind of transition. And that was right before Earl Dixon reached out to me a couple years back, and he wanted me to start leading the group for prophetic convergence. And so, but it started happening to me a whole bunch last year, leading up into going into this year. And then I was given a dream before this whole coronavirus thing happened. The dream was pretty interesting, so I'll share that first. I think it was February. I think it was in the beginning of February. I was given a dream where I was in a home group. It was a lot of church people there. We were in a home, big living room, where everybody was kind of worshiping the Lord and fellowshipping. And all of a sudden the lights completely go out. The electricity in the whole home just completely goes out. And everybody got real quiet and nobody was saying anything to anybody. It's almost like everybody was just kind of shocked that the lights went out. So it took them by surprise. It took us all by surprise. And everyone was quiet and kind of looking around at each other. And during that, in the center of the room, someone I know, his name is Robert Johnson. A lot of you guys know him. In the dream, he goes up this ladder. And he's up there for a while. So he goes up into the attic. And everybody's real quiet. And after what felt like a good while, he finally starts coming back down the ladder. And he had like this glass cylinder thing with 4 shot glasses inside of it. And the shot glasses had some kind of golden liquid. And he gets down the ladder. And the lights are still out. But then when his feet touched the ground, it did feel like the lights finally came back on. Nobody said anything to anyone else during this whole process. And so he gets back down and he kind of announces to everybody, whoever is sick or whoever, I think he even said whoever's demon possessed or whatever, come grab one of these shot glasses. And so he was giving these shot glasses out to certain people. He wasn't giving them to everybody, but certain people were getting these little shot glasses. And I saw them drinking it, and when they would drink it, whatever was wrong with them would be healed. I remember hearing something about cancers were being healed. Like pretty big healings were taking place. But I even saw what looked like demonic possession being rid of that, because when some of them were drinking it, their faces were kind of contorting a little bit. And it felt like I was watching the demon leave them completely. They were being forced out. And so I got kind of excited about that dream. Now, this was before all the coronavirus was really hitting the news at all. I didn't know anything about the coronavirus at the time. But we were having a home meeting like a week later. And so I called Robert and I was like, hey, I really want you to come to this. I'd like to share this dream I had of you. And so he did, and we were having during this home group, another lady was there who didn't hear about my dream. After worship, she said to everybody, "Hey, everybody hold out your hands. And as you're holding your hands out, just visualize what God's going to put in your hands." And so we all kind of just did that, a fun exercise of faith, and everybody was seeing different things. Now, I had not told the dream yet to Robert, but he holds his hands out, and when it was his turn to say what he saw, he said he saw, he didn't say shot glasses, but he did say some kind of vessel of golden oil. So he said he saw golden oil. And I thought that was kind of cool, pretty cool confirmation. And later in the evening, I told the dream to everybody, prayed over him, and I remember Susan and Desi also prayed over him, and they kind of saw him kind of have like a new mantle put on. But later after that evening, I text Robert. I was like, "Hey, what's up with the electricity going out?" That's the part of the dream I didn't understand at all. And I don't know if he really understood what it meant either, but he just said, "Yeah, we'll pray about it. We're not sure." But then this whole coronavirus thing happens, and all the churches have to stop meeting. And so I kind of just feel like the dream indicates that during this time where we can't fellowship together, it's almost kind of like the lights going out, and it was sudden. This did take most everybody by surprise. So many people that I know who, even have ministry and stuff, they had all these plans to do things, and they just had to abruptly just cancel things. And but the cool thing about the dream, though, is when this whole thing gets over with, it's like some pretty amazing miracles and healings are going to pour out. And so that's what I'm praying for. I've been hearing some other words from people. A lot of confirmation that right now, like, the Passover was a very unique time where, like, for the first time in history, ever since the original Passover almost, everybody was kind of forced to just stay in their home. And I think it was Charlie Shamp. I'll even post the link to this word that he had. He had a dream that God was going to open this big door in heaven here soon. And it's people who really are seeking the Lord right now and really resting in the Lord. He's going to give power that, the church has not really seen before. There's going to be some pretty amazing things ahead. Charlie Shamp said that it was going to actually start to begin on Pentecost. And so I think Pentecost this year is going to be at the end of this month. I think May 31st is Pentecost. And so I just feel like right now, a lot of us in the church are going through transition. We're not really going to be doing things the same when this whole thing is over. A lot of shifting is happening right now. And so, but yeah, right now for this whole month, I just encourage you guys to continue to just keep seeking the Lord, because he's probably going to be giving new insights of what your next season is going to look like. For me, part of my personal testimony is God totally set up this thing where he gave me a new car, pretty much got me a new car. And the way that worked out is a friend of mine randomly posted on Facebook, and this was in March, beginning of March, I think. He randomly posted a link or a picture of this new car he bought at the insurance auction, and he tagged my name in the link, and he said, "Hey, went on a trip, drove 400 miles, only cost this much in gas," because the car gets like 45 to the gallon. And he knows that I used to have a Geo a lot, and so he said, "Nate Ultimus, try not to get jealous." And I was looking at the picture and stuff and looking at the car. It was a Fiat 500. And I was like, man, I was like, Lord, that's a pretty cool car. And because God gave me a PT Cruiser a year ago, but I was looking at the car and I was asking the Lord, I was like, you know what, Lord, like, I would love a car like that. And so I commented back on the post, and I said to him, "Hey, if you find another deal like that, let me know. I'd be pretty interested. And only a week later, he posts me, he sends me a link to another auction of a really good deal. It was a 2013, only had 75,000 miles on it, and it barely had any damage. And the auction was a buy it now price for only $13.50. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh man, I really want that. And so I was praying to the Lord. I was like, Lord, can I get that? Is it okay if I buy that, even though you gave me this PT Cruiser just a year ago? And after a few days of praying about it, I kept feeling like the Lord was saying, yeah, go for it. And so I was like, well, I don't really want to have 2 cars though. I don't really want to be paying insurance on 2 cars. I don't really want to be taking up 2 parking spots at Brian's house because I live with Brian. And so I'm like, well, Lord, what should I do with my PT Cruiser? And well, 2 days later, after asking that question, he actually gives me a dream of giving the PT Cruiser away to someone I know. And so I was praying about that some more, and I felt like, okay, I'll call this guy and see if he needs a car. I called him up, and after talking to him for a while, he finally says to me, he's like, since you're asking about my vehicle situation, he's like, yeah, my wife's car, I'm using my wife's car right now, but I haven't told anybody this yet. My car broke down like 2 or 3 months ago, and I haven't told anybody about it yet, but I'm just trying to figure out if I want to pay the mechanic to fix it. He didn't really want to because it's really, it's got a lot of miles on it. It's an older van. And so I said, hey, okay, well, do you think you could use a PT Cruiser? And he asked me, he's like, well, he's like, okay, he's like, does it have a hatch? And I was like, yeah, actually it does. And he's like, oh, he's like, okay, because he does a lot of landscaping work for people, and he likes to throw his tools in the back, an easy way to get his tools in and out. And he's like, well, yeah, that would be perfect. And so I called my buddy back up. I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to buy this car, actually. Let's go ahead and do the auction. And also, the one part I forgot to mention is someone reached out to me like a week before this whole thing, and he just said, hey, Nate, I feel like the Lord was telling me to give you some money, not sure why. And so I was given some money right before that, and that's why I also really felt like the Lord was on it, because I was just given some money to be able to afford to buy this new car. Well, so yeah, we went through with it. We bought the car, but then my friend says, okay, you have only 48 hours to go get it. It's way up in Portland near the airport. And he's like, so I was trying to figure out how to go get that car, who to ride up there with me, and everything. But then I remembered that my brother, Matt, was in Hawaii, and I knew he was coming back soon. I thought he had already come back. And so here's the whole cool message in this whole thing. I call him up, and I ask him if he's home yet, and he's like, oh no, I'm at the airport in Hawaii, and I'm flying out here in just a few minutes. And so I asked him, I was like, okay, could you have your wife take you to the that auction yard and pick up this car for me and take it back? And it worked out perfect where he could. He was able to go there, he was able to buy it for me, I paid him back later, picked up the car, drove it back down, so I didn't even have to leave the house. And so God totally set that whole thing up. I didn't have to go searching around for a new car. Someone else found it for me. And and even my buddy, so I called him up and I said, yeah, I think I'm going to buy that car. And I told him about the dream that I had of giving my other car to someone else. And then it just so happened that their car was broke down. When I told my buddy that, he's like, whoa. He's like, Nate, he's like, I got to say, he's like, I flip cars all the time. And he does. He flips cars like a lot. He always buys them from the insurance auction and fixes them up and sells them. He's like, I do this so much. He's like, I almost never post links or make posts about it. He's like, but I got that thought in my head to make a post and tag you. And it was in my head all day. I couldn't kick it out of my head. So I finally just did it. And so when I was talking to the other guy and telling him that, I was like, well, it's almost like the Lord sort of was telling him to post that. The other guy who I gave my car to, my PT Cruiser, he's like, well, Nate, I haven't told you this yet either, but you happened to call me asking about my car when I was 3.5 days into fasting. And so he was fasting, no food, just water for 3.5 days. And and never told anybody about his car situation. And so God totally set that whole thing up. I just thought that was pretty cool. So this is the new car that I'm in right now. My friend who helped me get the deal, he also has a really good garage with a lift, and so he helped me get the new bumper for it. Because the only thing that had happened to this car was the bumper cover got smashed a little bit and it kind of broke, and the front left fender. So I had to buy those parts from a junkyard, and he helped me put them all on, and also helped me fix just a few other things. So he really helped me get everything going just good. So that the whole thing just happened without me even really having to try. It just all fell right into place. And so I just think the whole message in that, like a lot of times your vehicle metaphorically represents your calling or the ministry God has for you, whatever he's called you to do. Like your car takes you places. A lot of times it represents that. So I'm going through a season right now of a shift with a new vehicle. So probably it's going to look different when we exit out of this whole coronavirus thing. And so I just imagine it's probably going to be similar to a lot of you guys. But yeah, I think that even Jesus, after he rose from the dead and he was with his disciples for a while, he told them, because they wanted to have him, establish his kingdom right away. But he's like, no, go back to Jerusalem and just tarry and pray and wait. And so I kind of feel like we're in a season like that right now. It's like, yeah, we can't meet together and everything, but we might as well just use this opportunity to continue just praying, pressing in, waiting on the Lord. And I hope that, things will really start to lift around Pentecost time and onward. I personally believe that the Democrats are going to try to keep this whole stay-at-home order going on all through the summer. Some states are saying that. Some states are even talking about keeping it until next year. It's just ridiculous. So I definitely don't agree with that. But I just hope that this summer God's going to really start turning things around. And keep praying for our governor, Kate Brown, that she will, change course than what she's been doing. I think she wants to keep no school until the vaccine comes out. I personally don't trust vaccines. The more I study about them, the more it's pretty shady, some of the stuff they do. So, yeah. But anyways, just wanted to share that story, you guys. I guess I could show you the car. I'll just show you this thing. I'm out on a hike right now. Up in Oak Ridge. So yeah, that's it. I couldn't find the same color as the car, but I think it goes together pretty good. The gray with the green. So yeah, God's pretty faithful. Anyways, you guys have a good day, and hopefully we'll see you before too long. Bye. Actually, I thought I'd show you guys this cool view here real quick. It's pretty up here. But yeah, I remember actually regarding the whole message of transition, and this year I remember Greg Dietering told me back in December at a home group thing that we had. He said that God clearly told him he's no longer straddling between the old and new wineskin, and that he's resorting to new tactics, extreme tactics, to bring about the new. And so that definitely kind of reminds me of what we're going through right now with this coronavirus thing and staying at home and stuff. So I just thought I'd share that too. All right, see you guys.